Old
right,
Colquitt County.
guys, welcome in. Sorry to interrupt you, Phil, but we are back with Extra Point with Phil Jones and Mark Dykes. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey guys, welcome in indeed to another week of talking high school football. It is Extra Point with Phil Jones. As you can see, I once again am not flying solo tonight. I'm joined by our CEO and owner, Mark Dykes. Mark, thanks again for joining me.
Yeah, hey, it's great to be here. Got the first week behind us, so a lot of great things, a lot of great storylines starting to develop.
Boy, there really are. I tell you, I made a post over the weekend on ITG, on our Facebook page, rather, and it was about that very thing, all the great storylines. You know, we all anticipated this season, probably more so, Mark, and to the guys out there that I can remember. We had so much to look forward to, probably spotlighted, highlighted by Buford opening up that new stadium. I think that was at the very top, but man, filling in after that, Mark, there were so many interesting storylines. The game, Grayson and Collins Hill. Of course, it turned out to be a shocker in a way that we did not expect. But, you know, you had a lot of different storylines. You had who was going to be replacing Luke Nickel. I think we got that answered from Milton. So, again, some of the quarterback issues, Houston County, who was going to replace an A.J. Hill. I think we've answered that question. And again, I'm just scratching the surface, Mark, on the different storylines that made up the start of the 2025 season.
Well, there are definitely a lot of them there. I'm sure, today you spoke with some of the coaches. I know some of those interviews are up on our Facebook page and X. Encourage everybody to go check those out. It's always fun to talk to those coaches, Monday, Tuesday after the game. Of course, there's a lot of fun for those coaches this week. Makes it a little tougher, if you have a loss, but it's good to get the perspective. Of course, also keeping this first week in perspective too is something to keep in mind. And certainly you mentioned Buford opening up their new stadium. Got to tell you, it's great place. It finally got packed. Look, the first quarter, it was not packed. It's at Atlanta traffic. I'm sure just it took everybody a minute to get in there. But, boy, I tell you, after the first quarter, it was packed. A lot of great action on the field. Just a beautiful place, man. The weather was good. It was a little hot, though, I got to tell you. It's still a little hot up there. I mean, even as the sun went down, man. Of course, these players are a lot younger than me. I don't even know if I could have been playing at 8, 9 o'clock at night. It was very hot. But great. And, my hat's off to Buford and Milton. Neither one of them had to play that game. You got 6A versus 5A. And what a great non-region game to play.
Exactly. And, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Of course, Milton goes into Buford, like you said, didn't really mean a thing necessarily to either team. It's a non-region game, more for bragging rights than anything. But, we got to remember, was it a couple of years ago, Mark, Milton lost their first game of the year down in South Florida to Western of Davie. And after that, they ran the table, I believe, en route to their first of their 2 consecutive state championships. So, again, take that for what it's worth.
Well, I got to tell you, speaking of that game that Milton lost a couple of years ago, I was at that game in Florida.
Yeah.
And weather was terrible. It rained in the field. Listen, they all need to get field turf down in South Florida and get all those fields turfed up. Man, that football field was dangerous. Just for me walking across it after the game was over. It was scary. There were craters in that field. I've never seen anything like it. But you're exactly right. The interesting thing is, Coach Reeves, there was no panic in them after losing that game. Now, that game they should have won. They really should have. At the end of the day, on the scoreboard, they lost. But he didn't panic a bit. I don't think he will be panicking now. I got to tell you, I was at the game, stayed for the entire game. And Milton is actually better than I thought they would be, just to be honest. I thought they would struggle a little bit more, but they look good. They really did. They're very well coached, very good team. The quarterback's a warrior, man. He was just running all over the field. I got to figure out a way to keep his helmet on, though. I've never seen anything like it. His helmet came off at least 5 times that I can think of. Like I've seen that twice. Yeah, boy, they were. I mean, look, that kid, he's a warrior. They were coming at him. They were hitting him with everything they had. And that guy just kept going. Buford has a very physical defense. A lot of hard hits in that game. But I think Milton will be just fine. They certainly they certainly are going to be okay this year. Again, they look better than I thought they would.
So, Mark, you mentioned teams that you think are better than last year. That's actually one of the things we're going to talk about real quick. Like, there's a few teams that I, too, thought at least they looked better after week one. I'm with you. Although I had tried to tell people I thought Milton was going to be okay. You know, they're at that stage now where they can afford, like Buford, Mark, to lose some really high-quality players. But you know what? They've got enough depth. They've got enough quality depth to just reload. So I thought they would be okay. And you know what, guys? That game was exactly what we thought it was going to be, or at least me. Is exactly what I thought we were going to get. Two good teams, close game, really going right down to the last possession. And that's technically what it was. You know, Milton had a chance to get down there and win it or tie it at the end. They get the interception. They throw the interception. But I just thought it was that kind of game, exactly what we thought it would be. But I'll tell you this also, Colquitt County. Now, that's one of the games that really surprised me in a good way if you're a Packer fan. I really thought Benedictine was going to come out and seize control of that game. I thought overall they had the most talent. But I tell you what, we have talked about that home field advantage, Mark, at Colquitt County, the hog pen. I've talked about Jeff Herron, said it was the toughest place he's ever taken a team into. Other coaches have talked about that. I'm going to tell you, I think playing at the hog pen meant at least a touchdown for Colquitt County, but it just overall meant, you know, they felt like the fan base had their back. And I just think you saw the ultimate home field advantage in Georgia high school football on the big stage at Colquitt County. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, no question about it. I do want to jump back for one quick second on the Milton Buford game. Milton actually put in, I believe, a freshman quarterback. You know, their quarterback had come out of the game, and it's fourth down, and he throws a touchdown pass that brings them, you know, to within 6, I believe. And then they were coming down the field at the end, and as you mentioned, then ended up throwing an interception. But they had their chances, clearly had their chances. Now, getting back to Colquitt, no surprise to me that they won the game. I thought they would. Benedictine is loaded. So, you know, it's a big win. Again, another game between 6A and 5A. Hats off to both those programs for playing that game. Neither one of them had to do it. But, I think it's hard to go into the hog pen and my phone's sounding off an alert here, man. I don't know. Something's going on there.
It's either an Amber Alert or weather.
Yep. Amber Alert. Yeah. Okay. I don't need a weather alert right now.
Gotcha. I got you.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, I thought no surprise there. And how about the kicker? You know, if we want to understand, his time's running out. Kicks a winning field goal. I mean, does Colquitt? They just seem to manufacture kickers over there?
It's incredible. You know, Mark, they had they had the.
All right, looks like we lost Phil. There we go. He's back.
All right, we're back. So I was talking about the Fitzgerald brothers, Mark, at Colquitt County. Ryan and Brett Fitzgerald. They have been together. They have represented the Colquitt County kicking game for 8 straight years before this year. Okay. And so we asked Sean Calhoun last week in the debut of the Colquitt County Coaches Show, which you guys can watch every week here at ITG Next. And he was trying to hide his face. You know, he said, look, we may have to go for it on every extra point, meaning go for 2. But they found this young man, and I'll find his name here in a minute. I'm sure Rufus's demand can and some other Packer fans that are watching can tell me who it is. I believe it was Josh Scroggins. I believe it's his name. Yeah. Hey, listen to this, guys. He's never played football ever. He's a tennis player. Of course, Colquitt, Sean Calhoun announced, hey, we got open tryouts for kickers. Come on out. this young man came out, and Sean Calhoun said, hey, he can kick it a little bit. Wasn't sure, though, if we get past 30 yards. Well, he comes in and tries a 37-yard field goal, the first field goal attempt ever of his life. And he's got Benedictine trying to ice him. None of that mattered. That's a heck of a storyline, one of many.
He's feeling good today, and I believe he must have maybe he went through that Fitzgerald school of kicking. They just, hey, let's put him through the crash course of that. Let's work with him for a few days, and let's get the Fitzgerald touch on him.
Yeah, I tell you, he may have had some of that Fitzgerald good luck for sure. But you know what? Listen, what it all boils down to, is Sean Calhoun. What a coaching job he did. I mean, again, I think overall to a man, Benedictine probably, and I'm just talking about position by position, probably got more Division I guys. Remember, this game, by the way, Jay Lamar didn't even play the second, third, and fourth quarters. Their talented running back, Mark, went down with an injury early in the game and didn't even have him in most of the game, 90% or 75% of the game. So, again, great coaching job by Sean Calhoun against Benedictine.
Yeah, well, that goes to show you it takes a team to win. And, when you lose a star player, it's tough sometimes for the team mentally to get going. It can be deflating when you lose a player like that. But as you mentioned, Sean Calhoun had the guys ready to go. Not surprising at all. Look, Colquitt's going to be a tough out for anybody. They always are. Can't say enough good things about him. An even better person, cares about those kids and their well-being, does an outstanding job there. So, again, not a surprise to see them come out ahead.
All right. So, Mark, you guys were at the Buford Milton game, and then you went over to the Collins Hill Grayson game. We were going to be there, our game of the week. Obviously, we've changed plans. We've got this new Friday night scoreboard show. By the way, we had a great debut. I hope you guys will make plans to join us this Friday night. But you guys went ahead and represented us there, got on the sidelines. Mark, I want you to talk to us about the game. This falls into the category of didn't see that coming. And there's several games we're going to talk about that we did not see that coming. And Mark, that's right at the top with what happened between Grayson and Collins Hill.
Well, I got to tell you that, yes, a little bit of a surprise at how lopsided it was.
Yeah, not that they won, but right, the lopsided.
Yeah, being as lopsided. Having spent time at Grayson over the summer, I was there, went there multiple times and had an opportunity to see that team up close. You want to talk about loaded. They are from top to bottom, just talent all over the field. Look, let's keep in mind, Tyler Atkinson did not play. He didn't even dress out, nor did their other star linebacker.
That's right.
Did not even dress.
That's right.
You go look at the stats that their defense put up for that game. Collins Hill could just never get going. Grayson took the opening kickoff, went right down the field and scored, and they just couldn't seem to get it going. I mean, I think Grayson got like 3 safeties on them. A punt return back. But again, I do think Collins Hill will be okay. They have some players. The wheels just kind of came off and they couldn't get it. They couldn't get the ship going in the right direction. Every time it looked like, well, okay, they could get something going. Just didn't materialize. Grayson, they won it last year. And I mean, in my opinion, they're clearly the team to beat this year. Can they be beat? Sure, anybody can be beat on any given day. But if they're having, if they're not making penalties and turnovers, it's going to be hard to compete with those guys. And the other thing is the sheer numbers. I mean, they have – I know when I was there during the summer, Coach Bryant told me that. Now, I don't know if those numbers are still the same today. But 10 through 12, 170 players. That's 10 through 12. If you add in the freshmen, they're 200. It's just insane. And they got a lot of talent on that field. They will, again, be a hard out. Very impressed the way they played. I mean, those guys were on top of it. But on the flip side of it, they lost that game last year. then of course they went back and won them all. And I know they wanted to get some revenge on Collins Hill. I mean, they didn't want to get beat again by them. I think they had a little something extra to play for.
Yeah.
Mark, but anyway, Grayson will be difficult. Look, if when it comes playoff time, I'll put it this way: you want to win the coin toss if you're playing Grayson. You need to get them to get on the road and come to your house.
Boy, no doubt about that. Here's a little interesting nugget for you. So in that game last year between Grayson and Collins Hill, Grayson led, as they did Friday night, 19-3 over Collins Hill. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember last year, because I'm taking you back a ways. I can remember we were doing the Lee County Warner Robins game, which we'll talk about that one in a minute. And I remember checking into the score, and it said, of course, that Grayson led Collins Hill 19-3, and I thought it was over. Well, this past Friday night, it was 19-3. However, very much different outcome from that point forward last year versus this year. And I'm just wondering, if Collins Hill wasn't thinking, hey, we were here before, down 19-3, no problem, nobody panic. Well, I'm not saying they panicked, but I'll tell you what, Grayson picked it up a notch. I'm sure they remembered last year. Hey, we let this thing get away from us last year, 19-3 advantage. So just a couple of things to consider where this game was at this point last year and this year. Mark, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, there was still optimism among the fans because we heard that, that was going, hey, look, we were down last year. We're going to be fine. We're going to come back and win this game. But, all I can say, I mean, what does it tell you without their best defensive player, maybe their best, two defensive players.
Right.
Did not play and put that kind of performance out there. They didn't seem to be too concerned about it. We talked with some of the folks from Grayson, and we were told before the game, look, Tyler's not playing, nor is the other guy not playing. But he said, look, we feel good about these kids coming into play look really good, and they were right. What can you say? It speaks for itself. Wow. Fast physical team, very, very good team.
All right. So as we move on, and guys, I'm going to be getting to your comments here in just a minute. Let me hear from you. Let me know what game you were at. Give me your thoughts on any of the games that took place this past week. This was the best opening week. And Mark, I want to get your thoughts on this. This is the best opening week that I can remember in a long time. And both you and I have been covering high school football for a long time, Mark.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of anticipation, but I think sports in general, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And certainly even at the high school level now with NIL, I think all the facilities that are being built everywhere, the level of play has increased, certainly among a lot of the teams. There's no question about that.
All right, so we talked about quarterback situation. Of course, Milton, I think with their quarterback, they have taken care of the questions surrounding Luke Nickel. They found the answer in Derek. What's his last name? Anyway, we'll get to it in a minute. Houston County. Remember, there's another team, AJ Hill, 4-year starter. This offseason, I kept going to Jeremy Edwards saying, hey, who you got replacing AJ Hill? There was really kind of a quarterback battle going on between a couple of younger guys. You really hadn't heard of them. I hadn't heard of them. Well, again, after week one, that question mark has been answered. Ryan Maxwell, I believe he is a sophomore, stepped up in a very big way, Mark, on a big stage, Corky Kill Classic at Mercedes-Benz against a really solid Brookwood team. Houston County went in, not sure what was going to happen at quarterback. They find the answer in Ryan Maxwell. Had a big night leading Houston County to the big win there in the Corky Kill Classic on Saturday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So a couple of question marks with a couple of teams looking for answers for their quarterback situation, and they found it.
again, not surprising. I mean, they have a solid program. Coach Edwards has done a great job there. Definitely big shoes to fill with AJ Hill being gone, but
Yeah.
again, not a surprise. I think. Look, we've talked about it. That region is probably the most competitive region in the state. You know, Houston County, Lee County, TCC, Coffee, all those teams,
Yep.
very
Yep.
competitive. I mean, they'll just kind of beat up on each other. But again, I don't think that score doesn't surprise me.
I got you. All right. So let's talk about didn't see that coming. And we certainly didn't see, well, we talked about the Grayson Collins Hill game. We didn't see that coming, not the way it turned out. Didn't expect to see Bowden get shut out. I actually didn't expect them to lose, but especially didn't expect them to get shut out. They get shut out by a fellow. Lee County. Well, we knew that was going to be a big game. By the way, that was the first game since those two teams have renewed that series to open up against each other first week of the year. I think this was the first year that we were not there. We have live streamed the previous 3 Lee County Warner Robins games to open the year. We were not there. And the only thing that we really missed was a Lee County big time win up at McConnell Talbert Stadium, Mark. Didn't see this one coming. Lee County all over Warner Robins.
No, didn't see it coming like that. That's for sure. So, you know, I mean, I don't know where Coach Fabrizio finds all these guys. You know, I still say you can't replace Weston Bryant and Usmani Croma. I mean, you can't replace those two guys.
Right.
Now, having said that, he must have figured something out because, I mean, you score 45 points on the road against, you know, Warner Robins is a good program, a good team. So,
sure. Yeah. Shane Sams. Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite sure. I think Coach Fabrizio sandbagging a little bit. Not quite sure, you know, what's going on there. But, yeah, it doesn't look like they missed a beat. Now, their defense is no surprise. We know they've got talent on that defense. But I got to tell you, again, I'm a little bit shocked at that score for sure.
Yeah, and then while we stayed there in middle Georgia, we've talked about Houston County really looking good. Warner Robins gets beat. How about Northside Warner Robins? A lot of optimism in the air there, Mark, with Daniel Boone Williams leaving Langston Hughes, where he's taken that program to the state championship game 2 of the last 3 years. He leaves for the Northside job. We knew that it was going to be a resurrection of sorts. He was going to have to get that program back up, had a big job, had a big uphill climb. However, I don't think anybody expected Northside Warner Robins to be upset by Eagles Landing. Again, that was kind of a stunner for a lot of the fans up there, Eagles Landing. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know a lot about Eagles Landing. I just know that I think Northside to a man was favored to win that game, Mark.
Well, again, how many times have we seen it? First year head coach, he's starting new program, bringing his people in, getting his systems in. I mean,
yes,
to me, it's not as big a surprise as you would think. I do agree. Just if you look at it on paper, you think, okay, Northside Warner Robins should win this game.
Right.
But it's not a huge surprise. But they'll be competitive. I'm sure they'll be fine moving forward. And again, you know, it takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight today.
I agree with you 100%, Mark. I don't think anybody should get carried away. Sure, you're favored to win, but, you know, his reclamation project of trying to turn that Northside team around is going to be about more than just one game, Mark. We remember Rush Probst, his first year at Colquitt County, coming in and trying to turn the Packers from a 500 program into a championship caliber team. He loses. He finished 4-7, I believe it was that first year, and then of course we know what happens after that. So again, let's not make too much out of what happened there with Northside. It's just one game, guys. Speaking of Rush, have you heard the news? Rush is coming back to Georgia, everybody. That's right. Rush is coming back to Georgia. Now, hang on. He's bringing his team, Coosa Christian, to Pierce County, Georgia, Friday night to take on the Pierce County Bears and Coach Ryan Herring. So, for those of you that got the shock of your life when I said that, it's okay. He's coming back for the one game. Now, Rush did tell me last week in an interview I did with him, hey, he's going to coach this 4-month contract with Coosa Christian. And then after that, he's going to open it up. He would love to stay at Coosa Christian, but if something comes up, he's going to take a job, could be in Georgia. So who knows? He could be coming back to Georgia full time. But as of right now, he'll bring a Coosa Christian team to Georgia at Pierce County Friday night.
Phil, I'm not too familiar with Coosa Christian. I mean, it's a new school. Is that correct? Or like just a few years old or something like that?
I believe that, Mark, and I'm in the same boat you are. I'm really not that familiar with them, obviously being in Alabama. Now, I know that they have been super competitive the last couple of years. I think they went 9-1 or 9-2 last year. Rush said that they could have had a good shot at winning the class. They're 2A team in Alabama. So, got a pretty good team, pretty good squad. Now, they lost to Pierce County opening game last year. I think it was 45-7. So, Pierce County, I'm sure, is going to be heavily favored in this one. People are responding on our platform here saying that heard the game is already sold out. I'm sure it would be. Curiosity factor is going to be huge in this one, turning out to see Rush Probst.
Well, good or bad and indifferent, Rush, hey, he's a good coach. You certainly have to, give credit for being a good coach. Look, I believe everybody deserves a second chance, or in this case, maybe even a third or fourth chance. So I wish him the best there. If he keeps it to football, we all know what Rush is capable of doing. I mean, you mentioned when he went to Colquitt. I never will forget, he went in the Lowndes and he kicked an onside kick and they recovered it and the optimism was there. Anyway, he ended up getting beat like 55-7. And you could see it, and to his credit, that ended up being a great rivalry when he was there between him and Ferris and Lowndes and Colquitt. Yeah. But, he's not accustomed to getting beat up like that. And, he went to the drawing board and then, he turned it around quick at Colquitt. And then, boy, they got going and he really went on a run at Colquitt. So I'm sure that he'll find a way to make it happen at Coosa. It'll be interesting to see, as you mentioned, if he stays. I mean, Rush is like me. I mean, me and you both feel we're not getting any younger. I don't know how much longer he plans to do. But listen, coaching is a demanding job. I mean, people just at the hours they put in. And look, just for me, Friday night, standing on my feet for, probably 4.5 hours at least. We get there early, stay the entire game. Then the next night, going over to Collins Hill Grayson. And, they had that rain delay. Gosh, I bet I stood up 5.5 hours. It's like, man, I won't be able to walk when I get up the next morning. So, you don't think about these coaches every day at practice, all the hours they put in, but then constantly on their feet, at these practices and games. So, again, it's got to take a toll on you. So, hey, look, I wish everyone the best.
By the way, Derek Baker was the quarterback at Milton, who I was trying to think of. Derek Baker was the name. And so, anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and fill that out. So, Mark, I do want to ask you, and we'll move on. Again, you and Flint had the front row seat, the sideline view there. So, talking about Derek Baker live and in the flesh, you saw Luke Nickel, of course, as well. Your thoughts on Luke Nickel and Derek Baker, comparisons?
Well, I mean, they're two different quarterbacks. I mean, Luke Nickel, I think, can throw the ball a little bit better than than Derek Baker. But man, Derek Baker's a warrior, man. He is a runner, and
Yes.
he was running over people. Like he's a
heard that a lot.
load to
Yeah.
handle.
Yeah.
And so when he gets loose, watch out. But look, he made some good throws. There was a touchdown that got called back. That game could have gone a little bit different. I believe there was a holding penalty. He threw a nice touchdown pass that got called back. But to answer your question, he's a very good quarterback. So it's not like this major drop off. Let me put it that way.
I got you. And let me ask you this, and we'll move on. Now, I've heard from a lot of people about his big.
Well, if he's playing our Buford or Grayson every Friday, that's going to be tough. So,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I got to tell you, he took a beating. Look, I watched him take hit after hit after hit, and he just kept on coming.
Right.
Reminded me a little bit of Weston Bryant, who, as we know, was a very physical quarterback, could run the ball coming at you. Look, I don't think the secondary wanted to see him back there. You know, they didn't want to have to tackle him. But he's very good. He's a load to bring down. But when you're that physical, as you mentioned, you're always going to run the risk that, hey, you know, you could go out. You could get banged up and have to sit out a game or two, or who knows, because he was not shying away from the contact. And even after he got hurt, his shoulder was hurt. He couldn't throw the ball. He came back in, was running it. And I mean, the kid had to be hurt. I mean, look, he gets my vote for toughness award, you know, grit award, whatever you want to call it, man. That he's a football player.
I got you. Mark, let's check out some of the comments from people who are checking out the show. Reggie, watching the show over in Camden County. They had a big win over rival Brunswick this weekend. Simo Villalobos says another great week of football. Moody going to be at Gainesville this Thursday. That's a battle of the defending Class 5A. I believe they're the defending state champion out of Alabama in 5A, Moody, and of course going to be going up against Gainesville. They are a powerhouse, and they're going to be coming to Gainesville. I do want to mention too, another powerhouse is Raven Gap Nakuchi out of Raven County, Georgia. They are going to be playing Grayson Friday night. I'm trying to remember where that game is, but they are defending North Carolina Independent School state champion. So that's going to be an interesting battle there. I think Grayson, again, going to be favored, of course, but that is a powerhouse. So a couple of games to watch there, including a couple of big-time Georgia programs going up against a couple of out-of-state programs, Mark.
Well, good luck to those folks from North Carolina if they come to Grayson. That's all I can say. I believe that game is at Grayson, so I hope they bring a lot of players, a couple of bus loads, because it's going to take every one of them, to play Grayson. I mean, they're just tough. I think Grayson played them last year.
I think they did. Yeah,
they went up there.
They did. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So look. And that brings us to something we've been talking about this offseason. If you'll remember, I actually wrote a piece about how I thought 2025 was going to be the year of the repeat champion, Mark. And based on what we've seen now, albeit it is a short sample size, I'll give you that. I will concede that. However, as of right now, and after 1 week to play, and I want to hear you chime in on this, Mark. Right now, I don't see too many people competing with Grayson for the 6A state champion. I know, Buford, of course, will. 5A, I mean, I think Milton's going to be right there. I think they've got a great chance of repeating. Of course, Thomas County Central, I think, is really good.
Gainesville's good. Thomas County Central. All right, Phil. I think I lost you there. Yeah, hey Phil, you there? I know we were having some problems with the internet.
I'm back. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
you back? Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I'm
So
not
I'll talk.
sure.
Yeah. Go
Yeah, I'm
ahead.
not sure what's going on with the internet signal. I think there's some bad weather.
Yeah, it's doesn't seem to be holding with me. I know we can see each other here.
Anyway, we